The Secret of the Dance, story by Andrea Spalding and Alfred Scow. Illustrations by Darlene Gate. The Secret of the Dance, story by Andrea Spalding and Alfred Scow. Illustrations by Darlene Gate. Published by Orca Book Publishers. Many years ago, when the world and I were younger, my family defied the government. Dancing's against the law, announced the Indian agent. We need to hold a potlatch ceremony, whispered the elders. We were sent up to play. The salmon are running, explained the elders. We should follow. We helped pack the boat with food and clothing and everything needed for a fishing trip. Sleep, said Mother. Dawn will come early. Gna, the baby, slept. My sisters, Tlaquet and Wata, slept. I was too excited. That night I heard noises outside. I peeked as strangely shaped blanket-wrapped parcels were hidden in a boat. Waltkina, help your grandmother into the boat, called Father. Careful, Ga'as, I said as I steadied her arm. The boat rocked and Ga'as sat down hard. Oops, I bit my lip. She chuckled and patted my cheek. The youngest ones cuddled up beside her. We waved to the Indian agent. Put, 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 put. The fishing boat sailed through the dawn light. Beyond the islands, the wind was fresh and the waves danced. Mother gave us dried berries and smoked ulican as a special treat. We sailed all day through sun, wind, and showers. When we became restless, Ga'as told stories, tales about our bear clan, of the Hamatsa and the Tsanakwa, the wild women who kidnapped children. Dolphins leapt, eagles soared, and passing orcas spouted. See the Maxiniwik? We have their blessings, said Ga'as. Father scanned the ocean. No government boats were following. Your eyes are young and sharp, Watlina. Watch for the inlet, said Father. We must not miss the entrance. I knelt in the prow and stared at the coastline. I see it, I yelled. Father smiled and turned the wheel. Gila Kasala, shouted the watchers posted at the entrance. Welcome. Gila Kasala, we called. Our voices echoed along the cliffs. The inlet narrowed. The mountains were highest I'd seen. Our fishboat seemed very small. It was almost evening when we came to the village huddling between the forest and the shore. We anchored in the river. Our relatives fetched us in a canoe. I was glad to run and stretch my legs on shore. Time for bed, said Mother. We are not tired, we protested. Mother took me to one side. We need your help, Wakina. Father and I must join the elders. The children should not come in case the Indian agent follows us. There may be trouble. I nodded. Mother drew curtains and tucked us into bed. My throat ached with disappointment. We watched through the gap between the curtains. Shadowy figures carried blanket parcels from the boats to the Gugji, the big house. We listened, but heard only a low murmur of voices, the wind in the cedars and the waves on the shore. Gna and Tlaquelt fell asleep. Wahata cried, I want to go to the feast. She tried to get out of bed. Be good, I said, or the Tsunuka Kawa will get you, I repeated grandmother's story. The drumming and singing began before I finished, but Watlata's eyes were drooping, so I dared not stop. Finally, they all slept. I crept to the window and lifted the curtain. The village was dark, even the dogs were silent, but the drums made the air vibrate. The singing grew louder. It was more than I could stand. I crept out into the night. Ai, ai, hoo, chanted the voices. Da, ta, 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 da, ta, 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 called the drums. My feet tapped in response, and I followed the sound, dancing alone down the village street. Suddenly I heard rustlings and movement. Strange, masked figures surrounded me. Ga'as stories came to life. Eagle, whale, raven, bear, wolf, even Tsanukwa, the wild woman, towered over me. I turned to run. The wild woman grasped my shoulder. My knees trembled. "It is good you see us," murmured Tsanukwa, "for this may be the last time we dance. Watch for the hamatsas." The drums called again, and the doors were flung open. The figures led me to enter the big house. I darted between the closing doors and hid in the shadows. Fire was the only light. It glinted on the button blankets and the masks as the dancers circled, weaving in and out of the smoke. I saw Bear, my clan symbol. He passed right by me. I could not mistake his sharp claws and fierce white teeth in the firelight. He was a real bear, called onto the floor to dance his story. The hamatsas appeared from behind the screen. He danced in and out of the shadows. There was something familiar about him, something in the way he moved, and he proudly held his head. I stared, but the flames flickered. I could not see his face. The hamatsa danced beyond the fire. A log cracked and flared. For a brief moment the shadows were banished. I knew him. That was the only time I ever saw my father dance. Before the dancers finished, I sneaked back to bed. My parents and I never spoke of that night. The masks were rewrapped in blankets and hidden from the authorities for many years. Now I am older than my father was when he danced. Each time I step in procession, I wear the regalia forbidden him. I rejoice. Tears cloud my eyes as I watch the dancers. For now the government invites us to dance, to honor visiting kings and queens and other guests. Life makes strange circles. Himas, that is everything. So this part is just telling us about the potlatch ban that Aboriginal people were forbidden to hold ceremony, including potlatch. From 1885, the government passed that law. So this gives you a little bit of a historical perspective. So it says here, Canada's potlatch ban was finally repealed in 1951. And then here are the glossary of terms. And there's the authors and the illustrator.